Hey, we back, everybody. Welcome back to the Hands Off Our Children radio show. And as y'all can see, our guest is into the building. Now, like I said, she had a meeting she had to be at, dealing with some issues that she have to deal with right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about them, But this is a special guest. I mean, it's not her first time on our show. This is a loved one to our show. She's been on our show like, 3 or 4 times already. And she came on here because she had a child that completed suicide, and that's what we've been talking about today. And my heart really went out for her and her family, and some of the greatest people in the world you can want to meet. I mean, big hearts. And when you hear about with their organization, when they had the organization, what they would do for families, that just blew me away when I heard it. And they done it out of their pocket because, as y'all know, with these different organizations, we don't always get the donations that we need to help to fulfill other lives for people. So sometimes it's just like with me and other people, we have to come out of our own pocket to make dreams come true and to still make our message legitimate, through our work. So, Ms. Zaida, I want to thank you for being on today. You can tell people who you are and, your beautiful daughter right here. I thank you for being with us. It's our first time with us, but it's like I already know you, family. It's like I already know you, girl. You know what I'm saying? So, Ms. Zaida, you can say your name and your daughter's name and why you're here and about your son.
Yes. My name is Zaida Vansyckle. My daughter here with me, her name is Yale Vega. We call her Jandy. She is my second child out of the third. I have 2 children. My firstborn, he is the oldest. He's a male. My daughter, and then I had Jonathan. Jonathan was 14 years old when he died of suicide. Of course, after a child died of suicide, your whole entire life completely changed. You don't know where to go after that happens. So what we thought, my husband and I, was, okay, let's do an organization that could help other parents to see and to prevent, or to try to prevent, what your child is going through. And most of it is either bully or depression. And it's hand in hand, because when a child is bullied at home, they get depressed. They go home, they suffer it in silence, so they start falling into that depression. And we as parents sometimes see that happening, but we don't know how to handle it. They're going to a stage of being from a young man to a man, and they're going into that stage. And me as a parent, I used to see it. Well, I'll let him be today, and maybe he'll talk to it of what's going on with him tomorrow. What happened was there was no tomorrow, because that tomorrow came and he was gone. So I want to prevent, and I want to just tell parents, my organization is not as strong anymore because it's fundings, and it comes to an end when it comes to fundings, and we don't get no support. But that is not the whole reason of me being in the show or me trying to get my organization going. I just want to let parents know, if you see your child going through some hard times, whether it's depression, they come home angry, you see their character change from a happy child to a sad child or angry child or lonely child, it's time for parents step up.
Right.
Something is going on with your child.
You're right about
Don't let it for tomorrow. Don't see it as it's another stage in your child. He's a teenager, and teenagers are sometimes hard to understand. You need to try to understand and take a step as a parent.
Right.
Your child, for me, sometimes as parents, we don't want our child to be angry at us, because they do get mad at us when we try to reprimand them or to try to advise them, especially advice. They don't want to take any advice from parents, and then they get angry at you. And I hated to see my children mad at me. I didn't want them seeing mad at me. But now I wish I could turn back time and have him mad at me, but be alive.
Right. And that's tough.
It is tough. It's been really, really tough.
Because did he kind of like withdraw back?
Yes.
And his grades fell?
Yes.
And the people around him were a little bit different crowd than what he had before?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Those are trigger signs,
yes.
To say that, hey, we need to, I'm fading. Did he leave a note before he?
He started one, and the little bit that he wrote was he wished he could turn back time and change things,
Right.
which until today, I still don't understand what he needed to change.
Wait a minute, 1 second, everybody. Now, what I need to do, I need to bring my co-host in, Miss Elsa Prado from Chicago. How you doing today, Elsa?
I am good, Koji. It's very interesting what I'm hearing right now. I have to say it's a very, very hard conversation that is taking place right now.
That's right. You know what? And we have a special guest, Mr. Marc Anthony, the psychic lawyer. He'll be in with us in the next hour. And he's, I tell you a lot more, in the next hour before we even start the hour, start the show. Marc is family, my brother from another. He's going to be on the show. I just went out of town and watched him do his thing live in person, where he talked to parents that had loved ones that passed away, and where, he channeled that whole situation. When I say people was crying, and he didn't know these people. I know he didn't know these people. But the thing about it was, it's certain things that he said where people would bust out crying, and they was like, oh my God, that's something that he only said to me. This person only said to me. You know what I'm saying? He didn't ask for money. He didn't take no collection plate. He didn't do nothing, where people can go, oh man, that's a sham. No, it was for the love.
Right.
It was definitely for the love. And he said he would come here today and he would share his teachings in the next hour. And that's why, we wanted you here. I was going to give you 2 hours today. I understand, you had a meeting, and very understandable. I understand you had a meeting. So I wanted to give you 2 hours to be on the show to tell your story about your son, which you still going to have time to when we come back in, because I want people to understand the depth of the situation and what you and your husband and your family went through when that happened, and how that just shattered the whole picture frame of family. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And, I didn't heard your story. I know how passionate you are, and your husband, much love to him. Tell him I said, what's up? Give him a Toyota high five. That's my man right there. He's cool. But it can age you very fast when you lose a child, because not only do you feel a certain way, but you don't even notice that you don't even love yourself no more. And we talked about that.
Yes.
And you broke all that down to me, you and your husband. And I want to share that with the world when we come back in. And Elsa, one thing about Elsa works in the juvenile system, court system, and she sees a lot of children that come to court and they get in front of the judge, and the judge says, look, I'm gonna give you one more chance. Right. Mr. Neal works in the school system. He hears principals, and he even tells children, I'm gonna give you one more chance to get it right. But what they don't understand is that one more chance that you gave that child was a death sentence for that child, because that child needed help right now. That child didn't need to be put away. That child needed counseling. That child needed somebody else to talk to that maybe the parents couldn't. You put it like this: us as parents, our children get immune to our voice. You can threaten them. You can say this. And when I say threaten them, I'm not talking about threatening them to hurt them, but threaten them that I'm serious. That's it. You got one more time. I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but somebody outside say, hey, man, do you know how that makes you look when your parents have to keep getting on you about that? Because all our children have a role model outside of the house, whether we want to believe it or not.
That's
they
correct.
do. They have an outside entity, an outside influence that they really have more control than your child, than you. Let's just pray that our children, all of them, have an outside interference. It can be good or bad, that'll say, hey, that ain't for you. Don't throw your life away. Or why are you doing that? To make them see what they don't hear from us parents. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
That makes absolutely
right.
sense.
Elsa, speak on that real quick. We're on short time.
Yes, and unfortunately, I've had those cases where we're working with children, and it was too late. Even in the system, it was too late. The child committed suicide right within the location or detention facility that they're in. So I know exactly, that, I can totally piggyback on what you're saying, and a lot of the times is that, at least this is my experience, what I see is kids that make mistakes, and that's what they're referring to, that if I only could go back in time, because they're trying to tell you, had I known the consequences of what I did, I would not have done what I did. That's and right. A lot of times that's what they're referring to.
That's right. And you know what? We're down to 1 minute, and then, we're going to come back in. We're going to come back in fast so we can get a lot in this next hour. But we can't leave out children that are in foster care. I think
Oh, no.
we can't leave them out, because I'm going to tell you something. If a lot of children go through foster care and they endure these certain abuses, when they get out, even though they want to be a better person, and they live for the day to get out of foster care so they can be their own person. But no matter when they get out of foster care, if you endured so much abuse and so much damage, even when you get out of foster care, you're a damaged person and you're a damaged product that's out in the community. If you don't know how to channel it, and you don't know how to work it, and you don't have a mentor, and you don't have somebody to say, hey, you know what? You beat those odds. You're out of foster care now. You beat the odds. Now you hook up with somebody who's going to give you a fresh new start. Now you take your life of foster care and you open yourself up and you say, hey, I have a story I want to help you with. Now we're going to get into that when we come right back. This is the Hands Off Our Children radio show. I'm your host, Koji. Stay locked in, stay tuned in. We'll be right back. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hands. Y'all enjoy that?
Oh, yes.
Y'all enjoy that?
Yeah.
Bring that beat back one more time, Mike. Bring it, come on.
Jay back there having a good time.
Yeah. Okay, all right. We back. I love that beat, man. Look, it make you want to rap, and I don't even rap. You know what I'm saying? But I got somebody that does rap. I got my man, Mr. Marc Anthony, who will be in a minute. And what I mean by that, the speech that he gives, the love that he brings, and the conversation that he brings. You know what I'm saying? He definitely makes you feel at home, even when you in your own house. When somebody can come in your house and make you feel at home in your own house, you know what I'm saying? And that's what he does to this show. Every time he comes through this show, he definitely makes a difference. He definitely leaves an impression on us all, but he does it with love. That's the first thing that he loves. Miss Elsa Prado from Chicago, my co-host, can you please speak on Mr. Marc Anthony, the psychic lawyer?
I find it amazing, to be honest with you, because as you were kind of telling me, what you, saw with the in presence and everything. And, of course, having had him here before, I mean, I've always found it very impressive. And I think, you have to be gifted in order to be able to do what he does.
That's right. You're definitely right about that. And, that's why I said, I have a lot of people, that then came to me and said, oh, man, well, how do you know that is this and this is that? Well, I'm going to tell you something. I've been around Marc personally. We talk on the phone, me, him, and Rocky, his manager, beautiful lady, big heart, just like Marc's. I mean, they're a reflection of each other. What's up, Rocky? Much love to you from me and Jay. But I just want to say that when you hear him speak personally, and then you go to one of his shows, I have not seen a flaw yet where he's spoken out of context to make me go, hold on, this ain't the person that was just speaking, doing his thing when I get with him personally. No, he's the same person. He's still trying to show love. He's still trying to say, hey, what can I do for you? Is it anything I can help you with? He's still pouring love. And at the end of his shows, it's just like the shows that I do right now for 3 hours. Marc is drained. He is zoinked. I mean, zoinked. But guess what? He's still trying to be a servant. And sometimes we have to tell him, like we had to tell him the other day, he got to slow down a minute. You know what I'm saying? And save something for himself. Me, him, Rocky, and Jay, we had a long talk. We went out to dinner. We all was in L.A. together. We had a great time. But we went out there to support Marc, but it was all about love. It was all about helping to solidify that he do have big names, and a lot of other big names, people with radio shows, television hosts, television guests, stars. Everybody came to see Marc. So my name was just one of the many names in the hat that supported him, because we do love him and we do care about him. And we know that he does a lot more good than anybody can say he does bad, which that's me too. But it all depends on who's judging you, right or wrong.
You're definitely correct.
It all depends on who's judging you. Now, if somebody's judging you in the wrong way, they don't matter anyway. It only matters to the people who are really getting something from it, and that the person is trying to serve, to make sure that they are all right. So with no further ado, I like to bring in my main man, my family member. I always call him my brother from another, Mr. Marc Anthony, the psychic lawyer. How you doing, Marc? Everybody give him a hand. Come on. Let's definitely give him a hand. How you doing, Marc?
Thank you. It's really great being here, Koji,
And I can't tell you how much fun it was meeting you in person. I mean, we've known each other for years.
That's right.
Through telephone and through the show, but to sit down and talk and have dinner, it was just great. And, you know, God bless you and the work that you do. And I love this show, Hands Off Our Children.
Thank
this
you.
Is so needed.
Right. Thank you, Mark. And, you know, what you do is so needed as well because, Mark, one thing, you know, for a fact, a lot of these parents are left with no answers. We have Miss Zaida, who's with us right now, and her beautiful daughter, and they're no strangers to the show as well. I call them family before I call them friends. They've been here many a times, but, Mark, they've been left with unanswered questions, you know what I'm saying? And there's some things they need to know. And, Mark, when we was at the reading, I'm not going to say what you told the one mom when she told you she had 2 children that committed suicide. And I'm not going to say what you told her because I don't want to lead you into nothing. I know how you are about that. You don't want to know the background. You don't want no background of what happened, no nothing. So I'm not going to lead you into it and set you up for an answer to say. All I'm going to say is what you told that lady, you changed her whole life because she said, I can't believe you said that because that's something that we only said in person to each other, me and these children. Am I right or wrong?
You know, it's funny is I remember the reading, and I don't always recall everything that happens during a reading.
Right, you said
and
that.
And the technical reason for that is that when a spirit's communicating through me, they're transmitting information, and it's going through my brain, and it's not being generated by my brain.
Right.
And that's why Rocky records things, because then later on, I can look at it and decide if I want to write about it make notes. So because I analyze and study how spirit communication works. But I do remember the woman, and I do remember seeing some of the pain in her being alleviated.
That's right.
And that's really what it's all about.
Right.
Because if I could just for a second. No parent should go through the loss of a child. That's the worst, the most devastating, crushing loss. But unfortunately, it happens. Mm-hmm. And you know, those of us that can help, we need to.
That's right. And Mark, before we start, can you please, you know, not only, you know, are you doing your thing going around speaking, but you're a best-selling author. You have books, you know. Can you tell us where to find your books? Can you give us your websites? And, you know, I definitely want people, you know, to contact you. And, you know, you're part of the show. You know, he's one of my consultants on the show. That is a big part of the Hands Off Our Children show. He is the Hands Off Our Children show along with us. And so we support him the way he supports us. Mark, if you can give all your information, I want to make sure people can reach you and you can finish doing your work off the air, you know, as well as we do here in Las Vegas, all right?
Sure. My new best-selling book is entitled Evidence of Eternity. And my website is evidenceofeternity.com. Both of my books are for helping people cope with the loss of a loved one. Primarily my first book, Never Letting Go, which explains how to get through the journey through grief. And Evidence of Eternity removes the fear and superstition from spirit communication and explains how not only is it real, but it's based on scientific principles, human physiology, and it can be verified through evidence. And on my website, evidenceofeternity.com, you can find out about booking a private session with me. Most of the readings I do, actually, Koji, are over the telephone. My clientele is worldwide.
Yeah.
But there's also a section on my website, which is a free resource open to all, entitled Grief Management. And with grief management, there's several different topics which are addressed. One of them is coping strategies, how to get through the grieving process, things that can help you, learning about the immortality of the soul, things to say and not to say.
That's right.
To somebody who's coping with loss and grief. So that can all be found on my website, along with how to purchase my books, Evidence of Eternity and Never Letting Go, which are on sale worldwide at all Barnes & Nobles, all fine bookstores, independent, and, you know, the mom and pop shops as well. And you can find out about all of that and ordering them online at evidenceofeternity.com.
Okay, there it is. So to anybody that's joining into the show, this is a Hands Off Our Children radio show. We're here every Wednesday from 2 to 5. I'm the host, Koji. We're here on VegasOutNetRadio.com. The call-in number is 702-483-4444. So one thing I do want to say to my team right now, this is a little off the record, and then we're gonna move forward. When y'all drink these waters, please keep them turned backwards. We are not going to give no free publicity. Even though people can look at this and you know what it is, but you don't really know this is what it is.
Right.
It might not be. So when you drink them backwards like this. Don't show the front. We ain't giving away no free publicity. If you ain't a part of his team, being a sponsor, we ain't shining no light. Okay. Right. So, Miss Elsa Prado, you ready to get this underway?
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready.
All right. Roll the red carpet, Elsa, and let's do it.
All right. So we have the red carpet for our guest, very special today,
Mr. Marc Anthony and Miss Zaida.
Mr. Marc Anthony.
Let's definitely give it up. Let's definitely give him a hand, everybody, today. So what I want to, Marc Anthony, I want you to meet Miss Zaida, and Zaida, I want you to meet Mr. Marc Anthony.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
So what I want to do real quick now, we all gonna back up because I want them to see how this thing happens because I watched it play out right in my face. It's almost like being, to me, why I say a magic show. If you don't believe magic and you at a magic show, but you right there up in the person's face and you see this magical thing that happens, not a trick, just a magical situation. That's what's going to happen right now. So Ms. Zaida, can you please don't tell Marc what happened? Don't give him don't lead him in to say something because you said something.
All right.
Well, let me, if I can, jump in first.
Okay, Marc, go ahead.
When I open up to frequency, everything I do as a medium involves frequency. So I communicate with spirits. And Ms. Zaida, somebody may come through that you didn't expect because we all tend to focus on who we want to hear from. Okay, and that person may not be the first one to come through because typically in a reading with me, you're going to get more than one person coming through. So you have to be open to that. Also, when information comes in, it could relate to the spirit or it could relate to you or someone close to you, either on this side or the other side. The other side meaning that they're in spirit. For example, if I say, I'm seeing peanuts, okay, and you say, oh, well, so-and-so was super allergic to peanuts, then that may relate to the spirit. Or you may say, well, I love peanuts, okay, then that may be something about you. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it isn't, because when a spirit starts transmitting information to me, a concept comes in and it's going to start building, and something as trivial as, oh, they liked peanuts may lead into the fact that, oh, they also died of an allergic reaction to eating peanut butter or something like that. So that's why when something comes in, just be open to it. A lot of the things that come through in a reading may not initially make sense to you. It may require a period of afterthought and reflection. I get emails from folks every day telling me about after the reading and they had a chance to think about things, or somebody may come through that you're not that familiar with and you have to check with a friend or a family member as to who it was. So I just want to give you some ground rules there.
All right.
Okay, so and there's nothing to be nervous about. All of this, before I do readings, I always pray and ask God to send forth spirits for the highest of purposes to bring you messages of love, healing, and resolution. Okay, so how can I help you today?
Okay, hold on. Let me do this 1 second real quick. Marc, we have a caller that's coming in right now, and I don't want nothing to break the trance of what's going to happen. So we're going to go to the caller real quick, and then I want to move forward. Caller, how you doing, Dina? How you doing today? Welcome to the Hands Off Our Children radio show.
Fine, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Did you have a question?
Yes, I was wanting to know if Marc can tell me, do our loved ones know how they pass after they've passed?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, in Evidence of Eternity, I go into that in great detail because what happens is we're pure consciousness. Okay, we're a spirit having a temporary material world existence. And so when the body dies, the spirit is released from the body. And they are very well aware of us, what's going on with us in our life. In fact, in the chapter in Evidence of Eternity entitled Frequency Beacons, I explain how we're all energetically interconnected and how they're aware of what's going on. And spirits look at their death a lot differently than we do. We tend to, and understandably so, understandably so, we get very caught up in how a loved one died. We get, very upset and depressed, and we can focus on that for the rest of our lives. They look at their death as a doorway that they had to go through to get from the material world to now this new elevated level of consciousness. So they tend not to get too caught up in how they died, nor do they seem to worry much about it. I mean, they certainly remember it, and they see the devastation that it can impose upon all of us. But they don't look at it the same way we do. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you, Dana. I appreciate you calling in. All right. So what we're going to do, everybody, now, to anybody that's on the phones, if y'all can mute y'all's phone, I would appreciate that, because we can hear some things in the background, and I want Marc to go ahead and, talk to Zaida and her daughter. Marc, her daughter's here as well. I'd like for you to say hello to Marc as well.
Hi, Marc.
Hi, what's your name?
Jandy.
Jandy?
Yes.
Oh, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, let me open up the frequency here, and hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh gosh, you got like 6 people around you.
Wow.
There is an older lady stepping through, and I'm getting a very grandmother-like vibe. Now, this is always challenging because we got Zaida and Jandy, so the grandmother could be a grandmother figure to Zaida, or it could be to Jandy. Let me describe her. This woman, she was good looking, okay, when she was younger, and even as she got older, she maintained like her figure. I'm also getting she had a nice jawline, nice strong features. But what I'm also getting, though, is prior to passing, it's this weird thing going on with her eyesight. So she was either having some difficulty seeing. I'm getting pressure in my eyes and my head, so this could be either cataracts or glaucoma, something, or macular degeneration, because I'm getting an eye issue, and I'm also getting a lot of bitter sensations in my mouth, which is indicating that she was on a lot of medications, but there's also bile coming up. So I'm getting a lot of digestive tract problems and issues as well, and I'm feeling pain, what would be in her like reproductive areas. So she was having issues like in the cervix and in the vaginal area. I'm getting this whole bile thing, possibly a kidney dysfunction, and difficulty with her vision. And I'll tell you what, though, through all this, she was maintaining, she was putting up a fight mentally to maintain her lucidity and her mental clarity, but it was really, really tough on her. Does this make any sense to you?
Not to me. I don't know about you, Mom.
I know that one of my grandmother is very sick, but she's in bed. Yes, and
this person has passed.
Yes, this person. Yeah, my grandmother has passed, but I cannot say because I didn't have like a very close relationship with her. But yeah, she was a fighter, and she was in a wheelchair. But I don't know much of her health issue. I know that she died of heart conditions.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do is take notes on everything that I'm explaining, because these are things that you can verify later on. All right? And I want to see if she has messages for you. Are you having some type of iron issue, Zaida?
I'm having issues with a lot of issues.
Well, here's the thing. I'm tasting iron. Okay, so iron could mean like anemia or a protein issue, but I am getting a lot of iron issues that she is conveying to me about you. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Are you getting any numbness or tingling in your fingers?
Yes.
Okay. So see, she's aware of what's going on with you. Interesting. I'm tasting a lot of like bitter green herbs, like people eat like dandelion and yeah, what's that? To me, it always real bitter lettuces and things like that. Does that make any sense?
I have a lot of digestive problem. Yes.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Because all the bile and digestive things, that could have been something she was talking about you as well.
Yes, I'm treating that.
You're treating that. Okay. Are you doing a lot of like green juices or herbal things?
No, I'm under heavier medication for that.
All right, heavier medication. Interesting. So then I tend to think that your grandmother was on a lot of meds as well, but a lot of the things that she was bringing up initially focus on you too. Are you having any liver and or kidney dysfunction?
Not that I know of.
Okay, make sure you get that checked as well. All right, let me see what else she would like you to know. Do you feel disenfranchised, like excluded, like there's a lot of fear going on in your life where you feel that you almost have to be like almost in a fortress, protected?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. All right, so she is aware of that. She says you must remain ever vigilant. I'd like to say, oh, everything will be fine and, butterflies will come, but she's saying no. She says don't let your guard down, and you're doing all the right things, and she's giving you like a major thumbs up on the fortitude. She says don't let your guard down, and for a while you're going to have to, I don't want to say live behind walls, but definitely watch what's going on with you. Okay? Now, Jandy, she's focusing on you right now. Do you have a hard time paying attention?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm paying attention right now,
This is not a slam. This is not a criticism. It's actually an observation because a lot of people don't understand you, and they think that, oh, she's spaced out and she's daydreaming. But what happens with you, Jandy, according to your great-grandmother, is that you have like a spherical attention span. In other words, like some people are very focused and are focused on one thing at a time. You tend to like pay attention to a bunch of different things at once, and you lapse into what people tend to think is a daydream state, but your mind is quite busy and preoccupied. And it's like you're always working on something, always thinking of something, but the problem is you're having trouble connecting the dots. Does this make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I keep tasting lots of sweets and sugar, and I'm tasting like red lollipops, like that, cherry flavor. Does cherry flavor or lots of sugar make sense to you?
It did for a while. I've cut back on that.
Very good. Okay, so you're getting a thumbs up on that one. Interesting. You know what maraschino cherries are? The ones they put on top of ice cream sundaes?
Yes.
I'm tasting maraschino cherries. Does this, love them, hate them? Does this make sense to you in any way?
Yeah. I love them.
Love them. Now let me explain why that's significant. When a spirit gives me a message of an advisory or explanatory nature, like she just did about your mom and about you with your attention span and all that, and then the spirit follows that up with an objectively verifiable fact, a maraschino cherry. And it's interesting, before that, she's talking about that red cherry type flavor. That objectively verifiable fact is how the spirit is letting you and I know that we've properly interpreted the message.
Okay.
Very interesting. I'm seeing a spool of thread and someone trying to thread a needle. Which one of you sews or has difficulty seeing little things like that?
Me.
Who's me? I don't know. You
Zaida.
gotta identify yourself.
Zaida.
Okay.
That's Zaida.
Over here, me. Okay. All right, Zaida.
Identify yourself.
Now, do you sew a lot or you have difficulty threading needles?
Yes.
Which yes? You gotta
Zaida.
tell me.
Zaida.
Yes.
Zaida.
Yeah, do
That's
yes,
me.
I have difficulty threading needles. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay, very good. All right, hold on, let's see. Interesting. Do you wear a lot of silk, or do you really like silk?
I like what?
Silk.
S-I-L-K, the material silk.
Mm.
She's talking about you in silk or silky type fabrics.
I used to, younger.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay, you got to realize, when a spirit, they're not locked into our time frame, so you used to like the whole silk thing. Let me see why she feels that that's necessary to bring that up. Interesting. Do you have a problem with soy, like tofu and soy, like some type of sensitivity with that, and also sodium, really not good for you?
I don't like soy. I never did. Don't like the texture.
Yes.
Don't like the taste.
There we go. That's a yes, and that's a yes. Okay. Let me see. Actually, you're very good to follow that because there's something about you and a soy sensitivity. So it's almost like you don't like it because your body is saying, I don't want that. For some people, soy protein and soy products are very good. For you, it does not seem to be. Okay. Now, is there a male with a B name? I'm getting like either a Bertram or a Bart. I'm getting a male B name. There's that's being projected to me.
No.
All right, instead of going to no, say, I'm not sure at this time. I want you to write that down, because when we get into the no, 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 sets up a negative energy barrier. All right? Because I'm getting, there's a male with, like, it could be a Brad or a Bart or a Brent, but I'm getting a male B name. All right, so put the male B name to the side. Now there's a male energy coming through. And the reason I'm exhaling like that is I am feeling my heart pounding off the scale. And I'm feeling a tightness in my chest, a difficulty breathing. This guy definitely had cardiovascular issues. I feel like vomiting, which would indicate difficulty holding down food prior to passing or an inability to eat. I'm feeling a surge of blood into my head. So this could have been a heart attack or some type of cardiovascular issue or something going on in his head. And it feels to me that he had these problems for quite some time, kind of lived with them, and then one day there was a massive episode, and that was that. And I'm also feeling blockages in the arteries going from my, in my neck into my head. Does this make any sense?
Yes, that's my grandfather.
Okay. Did he used to whittle, make things out of wood or carve things?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because he keeps showing me like whittling and like whistling a lot too. Like, I don't know if he made little flutes or little whistles, but I see him. And did he come from a place, or was he around a lot of bamboo? Do you know?
Yes.
Yes, in what way? Yes.
In the way that I'm from Puerto Rico, and he was in architecture. That's what he did for a living.
What did he do for a living?
He was in, how do you spell
architecture?
Architecture, yeah.
Architecture?
Architecture, yeah, I'm sorry.
Architect.
Okay, yeah, because I'm seeing like carving wood, whittling, things like that. All right, so let's see what he would like you to know. Never let anyone talk you down. Okay? He said, you have got to stop letting people browbeat you, and he says, I'm getting the word manhandled. Okay. Now, that kind of goes without saying. Women should never be manhandled or forced. But he says manhandling and being treated really badly by men. And he said, stop thinking that you brought it on yourself or you deserve it. He says you don't deserve it. You did not bring it on yourself. Okay? And don't feel guilty. And he's saying he doesn't want you feeling like you're dirt or dust and looking down. He says hold your head high. Okay, hold your head high and be proud of who you are.
All right.
Okay, and who's the Pisces? Pisces. Now, that could be a person who's Pisces or the Pisces time frame. Hold on. Pisces time frame is around, let's say, right around February 20th up to March 20th. There could be significant birthdays, anniversaries, or events connected to you, to Jandy, or to somebody close to you in that time frame.
We have Robert, his birthday, your birthday.
My son, my first son, but he's very well. He's with us.
Fine. Well, right. I know. Your grandfather is referencing the Pisces. All right, okay. And that's Robert?
Yes, my son, my oldest.
Interesting. There's the BR name. Okay. Hold on. Do you call him Robert or you call him Bert or anything like that?
I call him Robert or I call him Bobby.
Bobby, okay. Because remember how I was getting the BR name before?
Mm-hmm.
I think they may have been referencing that. Hold on, let me see. Is your son always like hot, like feeling like he's temperature hot, or is he like super energetic?
He's super energetic. Yes.
Energetic.
Yes,
okay.
energetic. Sorry.
Okay, so let's see why they're focusing on Bobby. He has a hard time listening.
Yes.
But he actually does listen. It's like you feel that he's tuning you out. Yeah, but you know how you ever see a dog laying there sleeping? You think the dog is sleeping, see the dog's ear like moving around, like, I see what's going on.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Because Bobby does that. It's like you kind of think like he's tuned out. It's like, yeah, he really is listening. And what your grandfather is saying is that he's a lot like Bobby, or Bobby's a lot like him, and that if you're trying to get him to see things your way, you have to make him think like it's his idea. Okay? Instead of trying to like say, Bobby, you will do this, say, well, Bobby, let's make a suggestion, or may I suggest this? All right. Hold on. Is there a female with a K type sound name, like a Kara, Karen, Carrie? I get this Carrie, something like that, connected to you?
No. My husband's mother passed, and her name is Kimmy.
Kimmy? All right, hold on. You know if she's had difficulty breathing or had allergies or was sneezing a lot?
I'm not too sure.
You know what she died from?
I do.
Okay. But did it have something to do with her breathing?
I mean, maybe towards the end, that's something that could have been possible for her.
Okay, well, because there's a woman coming through, and I'm getting a lot of sneezing, a lot of breathing, and it could indicate that maybe during the course of her life she had a lot of allergies, okay? And I'm also getting with her like this feeling like my lungs are filling up with fluid. So that could be like a congestive heart failure or pneumonia or something going on with her lungs. And I'm also getting a burning sensation in my pancreas, which can indicate a diabetic condition or something with her pancreas. So this could be Kimmy or it could be somebody else connected to you. Does this make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Yes.
Okay, yes, in what way yes?
I can understand probably the chest area.
Okay.
I do know that she died of breast cancer.
Okay, so that makes sense with the chest. Okay. You know if she was a diabetic or had problems with her pancreas?
No, I don't know.
Okay, make a note. That's something you can check later on.
Okay.
And she is pulling my attention into the latter part of the month of October. Okay. So that could be significant birthdays, anniversaries, or events connected to you, to Jandy, or to her, or someone close to you. Again, like between, let's say, October 20th and November 10th, that time frame.
My husband's birthday is on October, so is her, and she also passed in October.
There you go. Okay. All right. You pray every day. She says you pray every day.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
You have to realize we're on the radio, and so saying,
Sorry.
can't understand you. You have to articulate for the benefit.
I have a hard time paying attention.
Thousands and thousands of people listening. You have to articulate so that they understand. And I'm not trying to be difficult. It's just that I want to make sure that the listeners understand what's going on here. Not only is she acknowledging that you pray every day, what she's saying is that your prayers are being heard. Now, you don't pray to people who have passed. You pray to God. That doesn't mean the spirits are not aware that you're praying as well, okay? And she's telling me that there's a lot of protective energy around you. In other words, you're praying for guidance through whatever it is you're going through, and you are being guided. She also wants you to know, as cliche as this may sound, that it is always darkest before the dawn. Okay? So you're coming through this and out of this. Interesting. Sugar. She was bringing up sugar. Now, I know that Jandy liked the sugar, but Jandy's cut back on the sugar. What's going on with you, Zaida, and sugar?
That's all I eat.
Are you totally busted?
Oh, wow.
That's my major problem. If I could give up the candy, maybe I can lose weight, but it's not going to happen.
Well, because you choose for it not to happen. I used to have a personal trainer who was a Marine, and he'd go, so what'd you eat yesterday? I said, well, I had chicken and vegetables, good. And he'd look at me and I said, well, I had a piece of pie for dessert. And he goes, you're disgusting. I said, but it was so good. He goes, was someone holding a gun to your head? He was a great trainer, but not the warmest and fuzziest person I've ever known. Oh, wow. So anyway, did you have a question that you want to put out there for any of these folks?
Yes, I do. One of the questions that I had in my head, since I knew I was going to be in the show, was not only for me, but for the audience, is when your child passed away from suicide. I remember that the first year was devastating, not because I lost him, but because I was thinking, where did my child's soul go? Because a lot of people, as Catholic, I believe that you are Catholic, believes that when somebody dies of suicide, they just don't go to a good place. And
well, let's ask them. Let's ask them. Okay. All right. There is a male energy coming through, and I'm feeling a lot of pain in my head. Oh my gosh, pain in my head. And I'm also feeling a sense of excitement. And when I say excitement, I don't mean like, oh, I'm excited I'm going to Disney World, like an excitable anxiety that is really difficult to control. Does this make any sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. And what I'm getting with him is like a real bleak, B-L-E-A-K, really bleak and sad outlook on things. Not unusual for somebody who has committed suicide. So we get that he was depressed and had a bleak outlook. But what I'm getting is like this crushing sensation in my throat and in my head. Okay. Hold on. When I say it's because of the what I'm tasting. Really bitter, metallic taste in my mouth. Okay. Hold on. Interesting. I don't know if he was diagnosed with like what they call clinical depression, but what I'm getting from him is on the sunniest of days, to him it was always gloomy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. He said he has been forgiven. And the interesting thing is it seems like you're the one that has forgiven him.
Yes.
Okay? So he's aware of that, and he simply is saying, thank you, Mom. Okay? And now I'm tasting licorice, like black licorice, and I'm seeing jelly beans. Interesting. Now, that could mean either he liked or disliked licorice, or you like or disliked licorice. And jelly beans indicate to me something that I call in the Easter time frame, which would be like the middle of March through the middle of April, or thereabouts. Could be significant birthdays, anniversaries, events connected to you or Jandy or him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he was born in March.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Hold on. You know if he liked the color green? And the way that before you answer, it's not like a Kelly green or hunter green. It's almost more of an aqua green. Or you may like those colors, but he keeps showing me like this aqua.
Yeah, I like aqua green. Yes.
Oh, you like aqua green? Okay.
I do.
All right. So, wow. There is no judgment here. Let me explain what I mean by that. There's judgment in the universe, but he is not being judged in the sense that we think of judgment. And he feels that when he was alive, there was a lot of judgment about him and directed to him. And it made him feel uncomfortable, and he always felt like people were whispering and talking about him and judging him. And this was a bit of paranoia that was tied into his depression. And what he is indicating to me is that on the other side where he is, he doesn't feel that. Okay? He feels completely free of all that. And he wants you to know that now he does see the light, and it makes him happy, and his heart is filled with joy. Okay? Who's either Miguel or Michael? Miguel or Michael?
He has two friends, Miguel and Michael.
Okay. He wants you to say hello to them. Okay. To Miguel and to Michael. It's funny. Jandy, does the term fairy dust or glitter make sense to you in any way?
Yeah.
He's talking about, tell Jandy to cool it with the fairy dust. I don't understand. Is that some kind of joke between you and him?
No.
All right, go ahead. How does that make sense?
I don't know. It's probably, I don't know, my personality maybe. I'm not too sure.
I mean, you use glitter or something like that?
I love glitter.
Well, that's a yes. Okay.
Yes.
So that's a yes. Okay. What is he saying? Cool it with the glitter. And he's laughing when he's saying this. And I'm tasting watermelon. And so when I taste watermelon, that usually means an event connected to you or to him in the month of July, because that's my indicator for July. Is there any, or maybe he loved or hated watermelon, or you love or hate watermelon? Does any of that make sense?
Well, we love watermelon.
So yes. Okay, so there's the uncontestable fact following the message. He says, Jandy, please don't be angry at me anymore. He says he knows that you're angry. He says you put on the brave face. You try to say, no, I'm fine with it. I'm okay. But he says, I know that you're not. All right? He says, because I know that you're not. He said, I wasn't thinking right. I was out of my mind, and now I'm not. And now I'm not. And he says, Mom, I'm not suffering, and I'm in a good place. I'm in a place of love. Okay? And the grandparents that came through earlier, they're over there with him along with many, many other people. Okay? Did you guys have like this scrawny-looking dog that was kind of like a mutt?
No, but there was this dog. He was an animal lover, and he would rescue every single animal he'll see on the street. And he found one at one point and got him in the house. And then we had another puppy, and that was like a fight in between the dogs, because the dog that you just described was jealous of anyone that was touching my son. He got super attached, and in that particular was 5 minutes before the pet control came and picked it up.
Well, that dog's on the other side. That's what I was asking, did you have, or I guess did he have a scrawny-looking mutt? That dog's over there with him.
Well, he had a little puppy, and that puppy died. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that animal's over there with him, and there's a sense of great love and peace there. Okay? Is there a Frank or a Francis? Frank or Francis?
No.
Not at this time. Okay? Not at this time. Instead of shooting things down. Okay? Because I'm feeling like a Frank or a Francisco or something like that your son's transmitting to me. The way I get that name is I see an image of St. Francis. We know that St. Francis loved animals. He's the patron saint of animals. Okay? But it's also an indicator for a male name that starts with an F. Okay? All right. So your son is not in hell, because first off, hell does not exist, even though as Catholics we're taught that it is. Your son is in a place of great love and great forgiveness. He is surrounded by spirits, both human and animal, that love him and whom he loves. And he's telling me that when he was alive, I don't want to say that he was insane, because he wasn't like mentally insane, but he suffered from a form of mental illness in the form of severe depression, to the point where no matter what, no matter how happy everyone around him was, or what a sunny or beautiful day it was, he could never experience that joy, and now he can. Okay? But he's also aware of the suffering that you're going through, that all of you are going through. So that's what he wants you to know. And he's talking about Alex or Alexander. Alex or Alexander.
Alex was his last girlfriend, and Alexandria was his favorite musical band.
Uncontestable fact, following the message, verifying his communication that he is essentially in what I call the heaven dimension.
All right.
So I will leave that.
We down to five minutes in the show.
When somebody leaves us on such a beautiful note that he's in heaven, he's receding now. So to answer your question directly, you were asking me, well, where is he? And that's why I said, let's ask him. And he stepped forward to let you know. And the other folks, your grandparents came through first, because they were the facilitators that opened the doorway, the portal from the other side to communicate and to let you know that your son's there. And then also, he was a dog lover, and that scrawny dog that he loved is there with him.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
I'm so sorry for your loss, and no parent should have to go through that, but unfortunately it does happen. And what I do as a medium, I engage in what we just experienced is interdimensional communication. Our dimension, we're communicating with the dimension that he's in, is to demonstrate that life is truly everlasting, and that your son did not disintegrate into nothingness, and that he is living in an elevated level of consciousness in what could only be described by us as heaven.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Well, you know what, Mark? I want you to give everybody your website again and give them, where they can find your books and a number where they can call and have a personal reading with you. And then real quick, after you do it, I want to go around to my panel and y'all tell me what y'all think real quick. So we'll let you go ahead real quick, Marc.
To find out about readings, my books, the work that I do, and the grief management resources on my website, evidenceofeternity.com. And if you're interested in scheduling a session, go to the book a reading page. Make sure you read the entire page. It will explain most of your questions, and you can find out about my books and see my videos, and that all can be found at evidenceofeternity.com.
Okay, there it is. I want to go to Elsa real quick. Elsa, what did you think about the reading today? We got to move fast, everybody, so don't make it long and drawn out. Marc, answer it real quick, and we got to move. Starting with Elsa.
Oh, I just want to thank you for being here, and I just felt like you did a wonderful reading for her, and I hope it gave her the peace that she was looking for. I mean, thank you so much. It was just wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. God bless you.
All right, Alan, man.
I just want to say you definitely have an amazing gift. And Koji will give you my number, so when you figure out those lottery numbers,
you and me both, my brother.
and I will share. I have no problem with that.
You'll split it with him 50-50?
I know. I keep saying, God, just once. I promise I'll do good. I'll give 10. All right, 20% to my church.
Hey, come to do it for Island Man. Come to do it for Island Man.
Okay, all right. Mr. Neil, a.k.a. Bernie Mac.
Marc, I think it was amazing. I'm looking at her face, looking at her daughter's face. I'm almost going to answer questions with them. I'm all, geeked up about it. One of these days when you have time, then maybe we all sit down and just our little personal session, we can all talk.
Yeah, he's coming to Vegas to do a show.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're
so
working on.
everybody.
We've been talking to Miss J and Koji about doing a tour in Vegas.
That's right.
Probably in November.
Yeah.
I'm looking towards November, Friday the 13th. Woo!
Great. That's even better, right there. Well, thank you very much.
All right, we got to do it quick. E, what you want to say real quick?
Yeah, big ups to Marc. That was incredible. That's the second time I've sat through that with somebody going through that, and it's just as incredible as the first time. Keep doing what you're doing, because I can see their facial expressions. They're definitely relieved over on this side of the mic.
Okay.
Thank you. Because I can't see how they're reacting, and I thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
All right, Ms. Zaida, real quick. We got to move fast, everybody.
Thank you, Marc, for your reading. I was kind of hoping when I was invited to the show that I would get some answers. It's been 4 years, and it's been 4 years of questions and torture and depression, and now I can say that I can go tonight and sleep well, thinking that my son is in a better place for sure. Thank you.
Oh, and he also wants you to know that he's going to start coming in your dreams, and it's going to be a happy thing. But give it some time. It's not going to happen right away. It'll happen when it's supposed to, so when you're least expecting it, you're going to have a very pleasant surprise.
Thank you.
We got to say thank you real quick. I got to get out real quick.
I just want to say thank you and ditto to everything my mom said, and tell him to keep visiting me because I know that's him.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Jane.
Well, Marc,
God
I want to
bless.
thank you for being on today. Everybody's the Hands Off Our Children radio show. Marc, I'll be talking to you right after the show. Much love to everybody. Blessings to everybody. I hope y'all grew from this show today, and let's help make the world a better place. All right, much love. You have just listened to the Hands Off Our Children radio show every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. on VegasAllNetRadio.com. If you like what you heard, go to handsofourchildren.org and let's keep it going. This is one battle that we'll keep fighting every week at this same time. If this doesn't affect you, you are a part of the problem. Hands Off Our Children is now in full effect. Enough is enough.